So welcome everyone to Wellness Wednesdays hosted by the Office of Student Engagement. We are really lucky to be having Mia with The Well kick us off today. She's going to be talking about mindfulness, which is certainly a pertinent topic as we've all been transitioning to so much change. Just really appreciate everyone taking this time to focus on their well-being, which is so important. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Mia.
Thank you. Thanks, Holly. Hi, y'all. Thanks for being with us on a rainy afternoon today and joining us on Zoom, because I know Zoom fatigue is real. So I hope that we can engage in some mindful practice together this afternoon. I have a few slides that I want to show just because I'm a visual person, and I think maybe some other folks may enjoy a visual too. Let me go ahead and share my screen with y'all. So I just wanted you all to kind of meet our team. I'm here again from The Well. We're a small but mighty group of folks who are the public health office on campus. So we are the Health Promotion and Wellbeing Center. And so we serve 32,000 students. I'm talking about public health, and one of my main roles is to talk about mental health and coping skills and education when it comes to mental health. So here's us. And really the motto for our office is to create a positive, inclusive, and empowering environment for students. So we operate from the PI model. So we want to provide non-judgmental support for folks, not scaring folks with, scare tactics, statistics. We talk a lot about sensitive topics such as alcohol and other drug use, mental health stigma, sexual health. So we know that coming from a non-judgmental lens is the best way to meet people, because we've all had different education about those topics. So we're here to provide you with some tools and tips to stay well. So before we get into our practice today, I wanted us to do kind of a quick check-in about some signs of stress. And so these are just some common signs of stress. You may notice some physical manifestations of stress, such as like pain in the neck or shoulders, your back or jaw. You might notice some more sensitivity to emotions. So when you're stressed, you may feel more overwhelmed, feel kind of restless or lack motivation. We may have other go-to habits as well. So maybe eating more, eating less, sleeping more, sleeping less. So as you're looking through this list, I encourage you to kind of pick out if there's anything that resonates with you specifically, and if there's anything that isn't on here that you feel in particular when you're thinking about, what comes up for me when I'm stressed. Thinking and taking a mental note about that too. One of the reasons that we talk about this is because practicing mindfulness helps us to kind of check in with our stress response, notice when those symptoms are coming up so that we can do some self-care earlier on. Yes, definitely difficulty concentrating, monkey brain, that's funny. Yeah, and so I like to think about we have all these mental tabs kind of open sometimes, and so part of mindful practice is closing out some of those mental tabs and focusing on the present. Yeah, procrastination. That is something that we've found in some of our data to be one of the most challenging difficulties with academic success. So folks procrastinating and it being kind of stressful, and then kind of getting into the cycle of I'm procrastinating so I don't have to deal with something, and then finally I hit this point where I have to overcome it, and then the next challenge comes on. So thinking about ways to engage in some mindful practice for what's coming up for us, and if that is a sign of stress, how can we face it head on? Yeah, great feedback. And so mindfulness is this awareness that comes through paying attention on purpose, and being in the present moment without judging ourselves for taking that time to be present. And this is a working definition by John Kabat-Zinn, who's kind of the Western guru of mindfulness, who practiced in Eastern cultures and was trained by Eastern monks. So he really brought mindfulness kind of to the forefront in Western culture, and his contribution to mindfulness-based stress reduction is what we see in school contexts, universities and hospitals, really those skills to stay mindful. So before we get into the practice today, just a couple of things to keep in mind, especially if you're new to guided meditation. So because we are focused on the present, sometimes like we move through our lives kind of not acknowledging things that are maybe painful for us or things that are stressful for us. So being present with our thoughts may bring about kind of unexpected emotions. So that may arise as we're kind of going through, and that is normal because we are paying attention to what's going on in our minds and our bodies. You have the option to keep your eyes open or closed throughout this practice. And that, you know, if any point this practice feels too intense, you have the option of opening the eyes for some less intense feelings. So you are in control of your space. So if you want to keep the lights on, if you want to have some mood lighting with some nice lamps, or turn the lights off, that is completely up to you. If you have someone else in your space that you think might benefit from this and wants to come and sit with you, that's okay with me too. Or you can just create this space just for you, whatever is most beneficial. And I just want to name there's no right way to meditate. So if you're practicing and trying, you're doing something right. Really, it is kind of like building a muscle to be present and pay attention on purpose. Like it takes time and practice. So we're all here today to practice that. So we'll try not to judge ourselves or be a critic to ourselves when we're practicing. And as we kind of mentioned before with those mental tabs, if your mind is wandering, that's what minds do. Many of us operate in situations where we're multitasking consistently, so focusing on one thing may be challenging for us. So just acknowledge when that's happening for you and then come back to the present, and we'll practice that a bit today. All right, so we're going to go ahead and practice. What I will ask for folks is if you can stay muted during your practice so there's no external noise. And then an option to keep your camera on or turn it off, whatever feels most safe for you. I will keep my camera on so you will see me, but if you would rather to turn your camera off, that is okay. And lastly, I'm going to give us some music today. And I'm going to put the link in the chat so that way you can kind of control the volume of the music and adjust it to the sound of my voice. So we're doing a beach meditation today. So I put some beach noises in here, but I also have just a general kind of like soft background music if you would rather have that as your option. So 2 options for today. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and get started. Again, option to keep camera on or turn camera off. Getting comfy in your spot and queuing up whatever music you would like for today. And we'll take the next 10 to 12 minutes to just be present and practice. And we'll start by going ahead and taking a nice big deep breath in. And letting it go. And big breath in and letting it go. Just dropping into the space, feet flat on the ground if you're willing and able. This helps us to get grounded in our seat so that we're not moving about. Hands relaxed on the thighs or at your side. An option to close the eyes if you would like. Or just resting them down, maybe into your lap, if that feels more comfortable for you. And again, tuning into the breath. Not necessarily changing the breath here, but maybe noticing its natural rhythm. Notice if it's shallow or deep. Maybe notice where you feel the breath the most. This could be through the nostrils, down the throat, maybe into the chest or the belly. And with each out breath, allowing your body to become heavier, really sinking into your seat. Letting the chair do the work. Beginning to relax the body. And if at any point you get lost in your thoughts, come back to noticing the breath. Let this be an anchor for your practice. And in your mind's eye, begin now by visualizing yourself on a pristine beach. A pleasant and sunny day. Not too hot, with a light breeze. You feel the warm sun energizing your skin. You hear the waves gently lapping on the sand. You allow yourself to be at one with nature. The grains of sand feel warm and energizing on your feet as you walk along. You hear the faint sound of seagulls in the air, which adds to the tranquility. Make your way towards the water and walk along the shore where the water meets the sand. The sand is soft and cool. The air smells fresh and clean. Now acknowledging that this place is just for you. any worries of your day gradually melting away as you head along the shore. You see small, washed up shells along the sand. And sense the sun restoring your energy and sense of calm. As the water ebbs and flows along the shore, your worries and tiredness ebb and flow away. Feeling completely serene and at peace at this beach. As a wave comes to shore, you look down and see a bottle at your feet. You reach down to pick up the bottle. And as you hold it in your hand, you notice the bottle has been sealed with a cork and there's a note inside. You loosen the cork and reach in with your fingers to pull out the piece of paper. And as you unfold, you see a message. It says, if you are reading these words, know that you're receiving this message at the right time and place. You are stronger than you may think, and you are worthy of love and happiness. Do not doubt or forget how special you are. You take a moment, allow this message to sink in. Acknowledging any feelings or emotions that arise. You decide someone else should discover this bottle and message as well. You decide to fold the note and place it back into the bottle, resealing it with the cork and throwing the bottle back into the ocean. As you continue to walk along the shore, allow the beach to begin to fade in your mind's eye. Allowing the sand and the water to slowly fade, knowing you can come back here anytime you'd like. When you feel ready, gently bringing your awareness back to the body and to the room. Give your fingers and toes a wiggle or a stretch if you'd like. And when you feel ready, gently opening the eyes if they were closed. Coming back to the room with us in your own time. Thank you for practicing with us today. Would anyone like to kind of share what that process was like for them, whether it was nice or difficult? All feedback is welcome.
I'll go ahead and share if that's okay. One, thank you for being here. As one who doesn't typically do this, it was helpful just to make myself calm down. And I feel it's really hard for people sometimes because we're always like, go, 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 go. But it was really helpful just to kind of still myself and just let things be. So thank you for guiding us through that process.
Yeah. Sometimes taking out that intentional time to actively slow down seems really impossible. So thank you for coming in and carving out some of that time for yourself today too.
I thought what was interesting for me, Mia, was that when you first started talking about, you're at the beach and describing your beach that you saw in your mind's eye or what you thought we should, I immediately went to a memory of going to the black sand beach in Iceland. And so I found myself, every time you started talking about a different aspect of the beach, my mind was going back to Iceland. And then I'm like, okay, Mia's pulling me back, but I want to go back to Iceland. Mia's pulling me back, but I want to go back to Iceland. And that's what I found interesting during today's practice.
Yeah, and I think you're kind of talking to the thoughts that come up for us or emotions that come up for us when we weren't necessarily expecting that. And so if that is your place, that's your place too. I'm here to help serve and paint the picture as a guide, but ultimately this is your practice. So yeah, interesting that came up too, because those are two very different beaches, but maybe had some feelings of tranquility in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Definitely not warm and sunny. It's cold, but it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Well, I have some resources too, unless anyone wanted to share. Okay. Just, if you want to kind of incorporate this practice into a routine. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. So our office offers what's called a resilience lab. And through that program, we offer different types of meditation and resources. And one of those resources is one-on-one stress management appointments for students. And so if folks are wanting some support around skills or tools to manage stress, and want to talk about how mindfulness can help them do that, folks can sign up on our website for 1-hour appointments with us to kind of talk through what that could look like and create an individualized wellness plan with us. So those are really meant to be some one-time appointments. So we are different than counseling services in that we do offer this as kind of a one-time strategy type appointment, but we're also happy to work with folks if you have questions about the counseling center and how we can get you connected to there as well. We also offer weekly meditation twice a week. So on Tuesdays at noon and Wednesdays from 2:30 to 3. Both of those are half-an-hour sessions, and we partner with VCU Recreational Sports for those two. So we do have meditation today at 2:30. If you would like to come and join us, but ways to sign up for that are on our website, along with where to sign up for our Resilience Lab appointments. We also have a well-being resource guide that was specifically curated by our office to be an open source document for folks. So if you would like some more information about sleep or stress management, coping, self-care, we've gone through, watched all of these videos, read all of these articles, tried out these apps, and they're really meant to be like an accessible way to kind of dip your toe into some of these topics. So living document too, if you have any resources that you would like for us to review, my contact information is at the top, and happy to review some of those. But this is also located on our website. We also just run a ton of different mindfulness and mental health programs throughout the year, as well as those other topics that I mentioned before, such as sexual health and alcohol and other drug use. So any of that information will be on our social media or on our website listed here. So we also have a newsletter as well. And if you'd like to sign up for our newsletter, it's a bi-weekly resource where we talk about upcoming programs and initiatives for self-care on campus and in our community. So you can sign up for that newsletter on our homepage, and it's connected to RAMS Connect. I know we're right at time. Do folks have questions? Oops, I do see in the chat. Yeah, any apps that I recommend. So there is like a list on that document, but my personal favorite is Insight Timer. I'm not sure if folks are familiar with that. So, you know, I've used like Headspace and Calm and all of those as well. But what I love about Insight Timer, is that there's over 30,000 meditations on that app, and most of everything is free. So there's like some in-app purchases, but really like you have so much access to different types of meditation. And one of the reasons I love it so much too is you can filter by amount of time. So if you have 2 minutes, there's a meditation for you. If you want to like put something on before bed for 2 hours, there's something for you too. And you can also filter by topic. So if you want meditation for anxiety, stress, relationships, sleep, procrastination, they have a ton of resources around that too. So of all of the apps, that's the one I personally recommend. Great question. Any others for me? Thank you so much for having me.
Mia, for your knowledge, your time, and these great resources. So I hope everyone now feels a little more grounded and a little more relaxed, and everyone go forth and be well today. And thanks again, Mia, for kicking off our Wellness Wednesdays.
Oh, thanks for having me. Have a great rest of your week, y'all. Thank you so much.